Look at this immense stone complex. This is Candi Prambanan, towering over the landscape of Yogyakarta. Among the nearly 1,000 ancient structures scattered across these grounds, there is one specific carving of a multi-armed deity that locals hold in a completely different regard than the rest. For children growing up near these ruins, the explanation for how these stones were stacked begins as a standard bedtime story, whispered in quiet moments before sleep. Inside traditional homes like this wooden joglo, grandmothers like Mbah Supri sit with their grandchildren, continuing an oral history that has survived for generations. This nightly ritual connects the peaceful domestic life of the present to a world of spirits and ancient kings that still populates the local imagination. The story begins centuries ago with a war between two neighboring realms, the Pengging and the Baka kingdoms. The conflict ends when the king of Baka is struck down on the battlefield. The victor is a terrifying warlord named Bandung Bondowoso, a man wielding incredible magical abilities. He seizes control of the fallen kingdom and takes the slain king's daughter, Princess Roro Jonggrang, as his captive. Captivation quickly turns to obsession. Bondowoso demands that the princess marry him and become his queen, trapping her in a desperate situation within her own palace. If she accepts, she ties herself to the man who killed her father. But a direct refusal risks the immediate wrath of a sorcerer whose power she cannot hope to resist. Facing an opponent with overwhelming physical and magical force, Roro Jonggrang relies on her intellect to navigate the threat. Roro Jonggrang offers a conditional acceptance. She will marry him if he can complete two impossible tasks before the next sunrise: dig a deep well and build exactly 1,000 stone temples. Bondowoso accepts the wager. He summons an army of spirits to stack massive blocks of stone at an unnatural pace, working through the darkness. Watching from her window, the princess sees the supernatural workforce completing over 990 structures well before the first light of dawn. She responds by waking the village to manufacture the signs of mourning. They pound rice in wooden mortars and set fire to straw to paint the sky red. The illusion works. Local roosters, fooled by the red sky and the sounds of morning chores, begin to crow. The spirits believe their time has run out, leave the final temple unfinished, and vanish. Bondowoso stands in the morning light and counts exactly 999 temples. When he realizes he was tricked, he is overcome by a destructive rage. In his anger, he turns his magic on the princess herself. He curses Roro Jonggrang, petrifying her in stone to serve as the 1,000th statue needed to complete the complex. Back in the bedroom, Nadia asks the question that often follows this ending. Was it wrong for the princess to use a lie to save herself? Mbah Supri explains that the story illustrates the heavy burden of deceit. Even with a clear justification, the choice led to an outcome that could never be reversed. The tale also focuses on Bondowoso, showing how his loss of self-control and his reliance on pride turned a defeat into a tragedy. These stories use these difficult scenarios to help listeners weigh the consequences of their actions in situations where there is no easy right answer. As children like Nadia grow up, they find ways to keep these lessons active. Many incorporate the motifs of the temples and the princess into traditional batik patterns, turning the myth into a tangible part of their craft. The grounds of Prambanan remain a center for this storytelling today. Dancers gather in the moonlight to perform ancient epics, keeping the history of the site integrated with modern cultural life. While archaeological research provides the structural history of the temples, the folklore provides the context that locals use to explain the site's beauty and its atmosphere. As long as it prompts a grandmother to teach a child about the dangers of unchecked rage and the weight of honesty, the legend remains a living part of the landscape.